What's up, guys? This is Ryan with Athix Fitness, and today we're gonna do a little casual, raw coffee chat, Just me and you, mano y mano, just talking about good fitness shit, So, today, what I wanted to talk about is the benefits of staying natty, fellas. We're gonna use that natty word instead of natural, because it's just a little buzzword. The benefits of staying natural. So, I started lifting back when I was 18, and I'm now 34. So I've been lifting a long ass time, guys. I heavily debated using PEDs multiple times, right? I think there's a lot of pressure when you're younger, especially, to use something that will get you way more progress quickly. Because I think that there's a few reasons. I think that we want results fast, right? When you're 18 or even younger or whatever, maybe you're early 20s and you're really skinny and you want to put on some serious friggin' mass, you want it quickly. And this stuff takes a lot of time. And I think it leads to PED use being very glorified, especially nowadays with instant gratification being such a huge thing. Like, you kind of just want everything fast. You want it and you want it now kind of thing. And you also see the best of the best on social media. And for younger, impressionable people who are probably a little more insecure about who they are, maybe they're still trying to figure that out. I think gear is extremely, there's a lot of pressure to use it, to be honest. And I understand that. I've been there before. I heavily debated it, like, for sure. I would say that I felt the most pressure when I was most into bodybuilding / strength training, really pursuing my dreams there, I guess. The reason I chose not to ever go that route is because I just started to weigh the benefits and the pros and the cons, basically. And obviously, like, you are relying on this substance for, I don't really care what anyone says, you're kind of relying on the rest of your life to an extent, right? Most bodybuilders who end up using gear, they go enhanced, they're going to be on TRT the rest of their life. If they try to get off, there's a chance they can get off, but it's a long, arduous process to get off. Look at somebody like Pete Rubish on YouTube, who was blasting a ton of gear, and, he was at the top of his sport, powerlifting, for a while. Just an absolute unit, dude. And he came off completely, and it's taken him years to recover. I think he's on like year 5 now or something of blood test results, and his like natural testosterone levels are still in the 400s or so. He's still able to build muscle and keep muscle to a degree, but nothing like in his prime of gear usage, obviously. It's a long process. Most people, they're on TRT afterwards. Look at like Jay Cutler. Look at like Arnold. Arnold is definitely on TRT at this point, like in his 70s or whatever. Sylvester Stallone, look at that guy. Like, that dude's still juiced up to the gills. And I have a few reasons why I think it's not good to rely on a substance like that. There's the obvious reasons of you're just putting this chemical into your body. Yes, like, I'm not opposed to chemicals per se. I hate using that word. But you're putting this substance into your body that, you have to inject, first of all. It's not the most pleasant thing injecting. It's kind of annoying, obviously, to have to rely on that every single, potentially 2 to 7 times a week if you inject daily, maybe at the very minimum once a week, because if you inject it and then you get that huge surplus in testosterone, the conversion factor then comes into play where your body converts the excess into estrogen. So, it's a whole thing with your injection protocol and all that. So that kind of dictates how often you have to inject all that. Either way, like, whatever, you have relying on injecting for this hormone for basically an indefinite amount of time. If you choose to come off, your levels are probably going to go lower than what they would have been if you just stayed natural. And then obviously the price of using this substance, relying on this substance, you're essentially just choosing to be on a medication indefinitely. So that doesn't really sound very appealing to me, especially the price aspect. Like, dude, if you're going to a TRT clinic, I think they are like $150 a month or something at the minimum. Like, that's a lot of money, man. That really adds up. And if you're choosing to buy off like the black market, dude, you don't know what you're getting necessarily, even like that. You don't know if that's safe at all. That could be fucking some random ass like shit they just put into a vial and just call it testosterone. Like, there's a chance, obviously, it's possible. You can get infections easily, whatever. But it could be cheaper, but like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to risk that? So those are the biggest reasons why I, decided against that. Plus, there's side effects of testosterone, like your balls shrivel up. That's kind of sucks, right? If you care about your balls. If you care about having kids, your fertility is going to decline. It could never come back to the way that it was. There's potential acne, whatever. If that's considered hair loss, expedited hair loss, that also sucks. So there's a lot of reasons why I chose not to use it. But the biggest thing is just the reliance on it, on this substance. And I'm so glad looking back that I never did it, because staying natural for this long has greatly developed my my personality, I would say, and certain traits that I place as like paramount these days. I think it's huge in teaching patience, discipline, and just relying on other things to get results, like structuring your program correctly, dialing in your nutrition, your sleep, things like that. But overall, bigger than anything else, I really think is just that discipline factor and that consistency factor. You don't rely on those quick results from a compound. Like, you're not relying on quick results. You're just relying on hard work, dedication, and a very long slog to get to where you want to be. So like, that applies to so many other aspects of life for me now. I'm very patient in getting to where I need to go. I'm willing to work hard and put in the results for a long period of time. And as long as I make something a habit, I'll stick with it. And I really think that goes back to just to start, like, just my decision to stay natural and to keep lifting for all this time. I'm not saying you can't develop those habits if you choose to use gear. I'm definitely not saying that exactly. But I do think a lot of people who choose to use gear, they don't necessarily learn those habits as well as people who choose to stay natural, because we're willing to put in years and years for minimal amounts of results. Like, I would say the past 5 years, I've probably gained a few pounds of muscle. Natural progress definitely tapers off really quickly. So you make a lot of progress in the first year. Let's say you can gain up to 15 pounds of muscle as a man. Then it tapers down to about half that, about 7 in your second year, about half that again, to use like a rough figure here. Obviously this depends on like your diet and like your training. If you optimize that, there could be some differences there. But yeah, it declines about by half in the first like 5 years. After that, man, like, you need to dial in your training or just really push or whatever to get any results. And it can take years at a time. That's something that I am completely content with now. Like, I'm happy with where I am, with how I look. And I've also learned that, like, I don't have to rely on muscle and strength to, like, the development of muscle and strength to be happy, I guess. I'm putting other priorities in place where that make me happy. Like, I have been doing Muay Thai for about a year now, boxing, Muay Thai, actually a little over a year in total. And I love using that athleticism that I've built through increased muscle and strength. It really translates over. So you learn to kind of put your priorities elsewhere also. Like, I don't ever want to be an IFBB pro bodybuilder. I never wanted to look like an Olympian or one of those like Ronnie Coleman mass monster kind of people. It just doesn't appeal to me, dude. So I'm so glad that I went this route and I learned the discipline that I have now. And I also learned that it's not all about building muscle and strength. There's a lot of other things in life, guys. And I just don't think it's worth the trade-off in lifespan, in money, in other health factors in general, acne, hair loss, whatever. I just don't think it's worth it, guys. That's me personally. If you choose to ever use gear, I think that's cool. That's totally cool. I just think it takes years to develop what you really want. And just because you want something when you're, I don't know, let's just say 19 to 23-ish, give or take, it's like those priorities could very well change when you're in your early 30s or so. There are a lot of things that are cooler in life than muscle and strength. And take that from somebody who's lived through it at this point now. So there's a lot more I could ramble on about this subject, but I hope that was at least interesting to a lot of you guys. And let me know if you guys like this series so far. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The loose and raw, just kind of casual talk is fun. So cool, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Peace out.